Hi everyone, I'm Jen from Caketastic Cakes. Welcome to another amazing and wonderful video that I'm making. We're going to be doing today the sugar skull you see here and putting it on a Day of the Dead type of cake. So if you like what you see, please like and subscribe because it helps me out. All right, getting started. Find a sugar skull template online that you like and print it and cut it out. We're going to use it as our guide. So lay it on some white that you rolled out pretty thin but not too thin, maybe 1/4 inch. And cut it out. Now using the template again, I found a circle that fits the size of the eye socket, and I'm going to press marks into the gum paste using it as a guide to the location of everything, so everything's going to kind of line up. And once you get those in, you're going to do the same thing with the nose and the mouth. And it's kind of important to make sure you have these in the proper spacings, otherwise your sugar skull is going to look kind of weird. So I'm using my X-Acto knife here. I'm not actually cutting through the paper, but I'm pressing down hard enough that it's making a print for the nose. And it's kind of shaped like an upside down heart, so it's not too hard to deal with. Once you get the nose marked out, I'm using this tool here in order to press it down all the way on the inside to make it recessed. And now I am marking out the teeth, the same thing that I did with the nose I'm doing here. I'm just going around the teeth, marking them all out. So I have all the locations down and everything will be spaced properly. Now, when I'm using this kind of a, I don't know, scalloped circle cutter here and the same size circle as the eye socket before, because you're going to see a lot of repeating themes when you look at sugar skulls. And those repeating themes are the details you got to make sure you have in order to make it look good. So one of the things that I saw over and over again were the flower petals that were around the eye sockets. So that's the look that I'm going for right here with these little scalloped circles I made. So I'm filling in the centers with blue and the outside with the green, and it looks pretty good, like little flower petals. And you also want to add lots and lots of color, lots of different colors. That's important too. So I have a set of flower cutters, and I put little yellow flowers in the middle of the eyes just so that the colors kind of really contrast against each other. I'm putting a little bit of water on my paintbrush inside each of the centers, and I'm going to add a little edible sugar bead into the middle of the flower just to make it kind of pretty. And once I'm done with that, you can see what I'm doing here. I'm using my knife and putting a little line down each of the scalloped edges, trying to give it more of the proper petal look. This circle of blue is going to go into the nose. I didn't have a heart shape that was so long and narrow, so I'm kind of freestyling it here. So do the best you can. Trim and measure it up and trim and measure it up again until you have it fitting into that recessed area that you made. It doesn't have to be perfect because as you see, we're going to outline it in a light shade of blue. And again, whatever colors you want. These are just what I use, but there you can see it all together, and you can even see the teeth, the indentations of the teeth that I made. Now, using my awesome cutter again, I'm going to use a big daisy and put it at the top of the skull. I'm using my little cutter to put a mark on each petal just to give it a little more detail, a little more interest when you look at it. And again, those flowers at the top of the skull and on the jaw, or excuse me, on the chin, are something that I kept seeing over and over and over again. So you want to make sure to include that kind of thing. Lots of flowers, lots of colors, and certain locations of them. I hollowed out the center of the flower and I filled it in with a little bit of green gum paste, which you can't really see here. And then I put the shiny silver edible bead in there too. The bottom is the hydrangea mold, and I used it in red. Put it on the chin, wrap it around, cut it out, trim off the edges, whatever you need to do to make it look good. And I just used a little bit of a dark red there, maroon maybe, just to accent the petals and give it, like I said before, a little more interest, a little more detail. Okay, so once I got that all done, I decided now was the perfect time to outline my skull. So I rolled out some black nice and thin. And then I just press it around the edges all the way around. It really defines the edges. It gives it a better look, and it's going to help it look good when you start adding the details of the teeth and the cheekbones. And that's what I did here. I took 2 thin little strips and just using the template again, marking out where they go and how they sit. And that glitch, pretend that didn't happen. But this is me filling in the teeth. Now the teeth, are easy. You just make a bunch of letter J's or candy canes or whatever you want to call them, and just start filling it in. And it took so long. It was so tedious, and it was not hard at all, but just prepare yourself mentally for making teeth, because it's a while, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on with the teeth. Look, here I am making more teeth. Make sure you have an even number, but that's kind of important. You got to have your two big teeth, and your bottom ones have to match up to the top. Make sure that the bottom ones are smaller than the top, and that's where the tracing them out really helps. This was a big jump, but there's nothing to say here except fill it in. Fill it in with lines and dots and colors and shapes. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how you do it. Just fill it in. I did put a little cross on the forehead. I saw that come up a lot as far as the sugar skulls go. So that's why I did that. So there you go. The cake is just an orange cake. It's square because that's what they wanted. So I stayed with the burnt colors because that seems to be more of a Day of the Dead thing. The marigold colors, the oranges, yellows, golds, fiery colors. I made some gum paste roses. I have another video that you can check out to see how I make the roses. These are like cheapy little easy ones. So I just made 4 of those to go, one on each corner. Again, using lots of different colors. There's my flowers, lots of different shapes. Fill it all in. There you go. Lots of flowers. Put the beads in if you want to, just to make it a little more colorful. As you can see, I'm delicately placing. So, yep, there you go. Once you have that, the flowers in, because lots of flowers again with this kind of a theme, I'm going to add a little bit more because I had a little bit too much empty space on the top of the cake. I just put some yellow swirls, kind of like on the skull's cheeks and the forehead there, just the swirls, the colors, the loops. It just is a little more color, a little more interesting to look at. And then you pretty much have it. I just added more flowers, more yellow flowers around the edges on the top and the bottom of the cake this time. And what I didn't show you guys, but you'll see in the cake picture, is I made a candle on each corner, or excuse me, on the bottom of each side of the cake, because lots of candles are involved too. I think you guys can handle that. It's just a cylinder shape with a little black wick at the top. All right, so if you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. Check out my other videos for more amazing things. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the messages, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.